are back in the fucking building, man. I think. Do you feel that's close enough on your head?
I mean,
I'm a bit closer.
Could probably like bring that all the way in there. To be fair,
that's better.
That's a nice shot.
Fucking
I
smashed
like
it.
the lighting in here.
Yeah, it's nice, eh? I think the GoPro's getting us for that amateur feel. Anyway, welcome back to the podcast, everyone.
What's happening?
It's been a hot minute or a short minute or whatever the American phrase is.
Been a while.
It's been a fucking while, hasn't it? Because that's just what happens, mate. Just over promising and under delivering.
That's why.
As fucking usual. So, first off, apologies for the slurps. There's gonna be a few slurps. Oh, it's hotter than the fucking sun, mate. Second off, apologies for Elder Bro walking past in the background. That's just the fact of life. When your podcast studio is your front room, that's just what happens, man. So it's just adding to the feel. So adding to the feel of being here, like you are sat in my front fucking room.
Which I am.
Okay.
It's beautiful front room.
Today we have Adam. I don't know his second name.
What my last name? Rogers.
Adam Rogers. I knew that.
What's the matter with you?
Shit, I actually did know that.
I would hope you knew that.
Okay.
Just, been working together a little while.
A little while. So, I can't decide whether I should introduce Adam or Adam should introduce himself. Do you want to introduce yourself? All right, I'll do it.
It's a bit cringy.
So it is, yeah. It's like the first day of school when you
have to stand up.
You have
and
to do an
tell everyone
icebreaker.
about yourself. Yeah.
Tell us an interesting fact about yourself, man. So, I'll go into the story. So
Do it.
So what happened was, I was talking to Mr. Rob Lipset one time, and he said, "You know what? I'm supposed to be going Thailand with this company, and I was meant to be taking me bird. However, obviously, shit went down the fucking pan. I am no longer." This is not verbatim, by the way. Basically, he said, "I'm not with Sarah anymore. Fancy coming Thailand?" And I'm like, fuck yeah. So, I mean, I was like, oh shit, I'm sorry, Rob, you alright, mate? So what happened was, Rob put me in contact with Adam, who is along with his partner, did we say partner? I don't know what the fuck you say, man. Partner,
The
Ina.
mother of my child.
Yeah, who are the owners, runners, just all around everythingers of New Horizon Escapes, which are, well, you can tell us what New Horizon Escapes are.
We're calling them adventure fitness escapes. Essentially, it's not a fitness retreat. It's not a boot camp. It's none of that. It's about the adventure aspect more than everything else, and just being active and having a good time.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think I said retreat once by accident, and I was.
Ina probably strangled you.
Yeah, I was chastised.
She's worse than I am, to be fair. Even I say retreat sometimes because it's such a commonly used word.
Right, yeah. I think you're trying to just, stay away from the idea of, we're all going to go and, fucking be zen
Pretty
together.
Much. There's the two sides of the coin. When you think of, a retreat, you either think of, a yoga-based kind of, meditation and all that jazz. Or when someone says fitness retreat, you just think of a boot camp where you're just having the life beasted out of you all day, you're eating lettuce and just massively restricted, which is not what we're about. It's about just getting together, having a good time, doing some fun stuff, eating some good food. I mean, you'll vouch for that. We don't restrict. We put the food in front of you, and it's up to you how much you eat, and training and, being active.
Yeah, so where was I up to in the story? After that, we did the first Koh Tao, which I came along on as a guest. So I was just there, basically just getting a feel for the experience. Hopefully viewers have seen the Koh Tao videos, because it was probably one of my best videos, to be honest. It was a sick video. The thing is, that kind of shit is perfect for me because it's just exactly what I fucking love, man. So I did that one. I did another escape in June, and I think circling back to why you're here, I just thought that we probably had a lot of good kind of conversations where you just, you're there, sat around eating dinner. That's honestly one of the best parts of it. I think you sat around having dinner, and it's been a sick day of doing fucking active shit, and you're eating good food, and then you just have a good conversation. And I was like, I think you specifically have got a very you probably put people at ease quite well. You strike me as a very down to earth kind of guy, and I think that helps.
Sort of facade.
Helps relax. Yeah. Helps relax people a lot, and I think there's people kind of do lean towards people who come off as very natural. I think very naturally in conversation, very, and so I thought it'd be interesting to get you here, also because people think that my life is out of the ordinary, but yours is probably, obviously you've got a baby now, which will, we can talk about also, but yours is like mad out of the ordinary.
It's pretty mad,
and you probably had similar. I mean, you were a PT, right? Is that? Yeah, tell me. Go on, tell me.
So I became a personal trainer. I wouldn't even be able to tell you how long ago now. Quite a while ago. And so I kind of did the whole commercial gym PT thing, trying to pick up as many clients as possible for as cheap as possible, just to get numbers in and all that. So I was a PT for quite some time. Went into actually managing gyms as well. So I was running a gym in London. That all kind of came to an end via a mutual decision between myself and the company I was working with. Mostly down to my not taking to authority very well.
Right.
To be honest, I've always wanted to just do my own thing. It's never been, and I'm sure you're the same, I've never really been one for taking orders in that sense. So I was running gyms. After I left that particular company, Ina and myself went traveling for only a month. We just did a month around Thailand.
Let me jump in. Where did you actually meet? I've probably asked you before.
Okay, so she actually was highly unprofessional. She was a member of the gym that I was managing.
Terrible.
I know it is. And at the time, it was just like, hey, how's it going? Like, she just used to come in. There was nothing really there in that sense. And then just kind of the longer that she was there, we got chatting a couple times. Eventually just went for coffee and things. She used to work in New Look on Oxford Street at the time, and my gym was just behind it. So we kind of met in the gym and kind of went from there. And then pretty much I think we were only together for about something stupid like 6 months before we decided to just go away. It was less than 6 months when we went on holiday, that's for sure. So we went to Thailand. We did a bit of traveling for a month around Thailand. And it was during that time, because obviously I'd then left the company I was working for, we were both very open to the idea of spending more time overseas. So we're just kind of open to it and just asking around, trying to find ways that we could potentially spend a bit more time out there. And then after chatting to the owner of one of the gyms, and he was actually looking for a gym manager at the time, so I got offered to go out to Thailand, run a gym out there.
Which gym was this?
That was in Koh Tao.
Right, okay.
So it's the one that you've trained in.
I know, yeah.
So that was so random. We were just asking around. We were actually looking to be PTs, and Ina started talking to him because I'm not as upfront as she is about that kind of stuff. So she was just chatting away. She mentioned that I was a gym manager, and he was like, "Oh, I'm actually looking for a manager. Do you fancy coming and working for me?" And it was a no-brainer then. So literally a month later, we'd moved out to Thailand, and that's kind of where it all. I could make it a very, very long story, but essentially that's where it all kind of started. We moved out to Thailand, and sort of the idea started to formulate to, give other people the opportunity to go to cool places and do all the fun stuff that we were doing on a regular basis and work out and all that kind of stuff. So, and that's why Koh Tao was our very first location, because that's where we had all of our contacts. That's where we lived for the best part of a year. Did I actually? I've forgotten the actual question that you asked. I
don't know. I was just.
I went on a tangent.
Yeah, tangents are fine, man. That's what it's about. You know, life's a tangent, man. I was asking about general, like, you know, transition, how you got there in the first place. But I suppose it was a marriage of your actual. It's like all of the things that you like put into one.
It really, it really was.
It doesn't. You actually make it sound pretty easy to just fuck stuff off and. But I suppose like
it kind of
Jim
is.
fucked you off.
Like it was a mutual decision. But this is the thing. It kind of like the first time you ever put yourself out there and do something like that and kind of take a bit of a leap of faith. It's really scary, but it's not that hard. Like if you look at the worst case scenario of like, okay, me going out to Thailand, what is literally the worst thing other than like dying and whatever?
Dying is always the worst though.
The worst case scenario of like that particular situation is that it doesn't work out. You come back home with your tail between your legs, crash at your parents for a bit, look for a job. Yeah. Like it's...
No, exactly, yeah.
People look at it as a really scary thing.
Well,
but it's...
That's how I feel about it as well. I mean, I often try and think about like the worst case scenario, and it does come back to just like living at my mum and dad's house for a bit, which actually isn't that bad. I think what people are more scared of though is the social kind of like, oh, I tried this and now I'm going back and living at my parents' house, and people are going to be like, oh, he's look at him, he thinks he can do this.
That's why I haven't got any friends. Yeah, no, there is that. Like it's that pride thing of like literally kind of having to stand up and say, yeah, I failed, but I'm all right with that.
Yeah,
because it depends whether if failure is something that you absolutely don't want to ever happen in your life, or then success is not really going to happen very often either. So you have to be kind of prepared to just go with it and just go, you know what, like if I fail, I'm still going to try again. That's more to the point. If you're going to fail and just give up, like... Yeah,
I mean, I think in those specific circumstances, worst case scenario is you got a holiday to Thailand. You know, that's not actually that bad, is it? And at least it's a bit of a, you know, I think it's good to try and apply, like, at least try, like, attempt an idea that's not the typical, like, you know, when I was younger, I was always like, right, I don't know what I'm going to do when I grow up, but I just feel like it's got to be something different, man.
Yeah.
I just had a craving for something that's, like, a little bit different, that's, like, not the typical. I think it was because I don't like predictability, and I don't like, everything has to be, like, changing for me all the time, for me to feel, like, kind of, just not bored of shit, do you know what I mean? And so I think it's good to at least, you know, have a go at something like that, and it must be, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a short attention span, to be fair. Like, and I'm not one for just sitting in one place and doing one thing. And even now, still, I kind of have a tendency to, if things get a little bit too routine, I'm like, no, we need to do something else. Like something else needs to happen.
Yeah, and everything catches up, right? Because if your expectations catch up to the pace of your life and the pace that everything's changing, and so like constant change eventually feels, you're like, oh, now I need more change, I need more extreme shit, and that's actually like a bit of a dangerous thing. You should probably, I don't know if that's a sustainable like way. Like currently, I'm just trying to like cater for that by like just go do different shit, like go here, go over there, like entertain myself by like going to different places and traveling a lot and shit like that.
Yeah.
But like long term, it's actually not, you can't keep doing that, man, because you end up like at a point where you're like, there's nowhere to go from here. Like you actually do need to like, especially if you're gonna work on anything solid, like and actually really put effort into something, you need like a base to do that, a base for productivity, you know what I mean?
I mean, that's why we make a concerted effort to come back to the UK for, you know, we come back for like a month in the summer, and we're back now for 3 months over the winter, which is quite depressing. But it grounds you, and it gives you the opportunity to just kind of like get all your shit together, and just kind of go, right, what did we just do this year? Like, get everything, you know, accounts and things have to be done as well, all the admin side of it, and you have to do a couple of months of being an adult, and just doing all the responsible stuff, and also you know, it's all very well and good just kind of flying off and doing cool shit and having fun all over the world, but you do have to have a little bit of a plan, and that usually happens when we're back here, you know, and it's winter, and you come up with the best ideas then because you're trying to escape the winter. So this is an opportunity for us to reflect on the last year, but also put a plan together for next year.
So give me an idea of like how your year has been. Like, how many retreats did you do? Shit. How many escapes did you do this year? And where were they?
So I think it was 9. So we started the year up. So we'd normally start a little bit earlier, but we had a baby, last October.
Just out the blue.
Just because, why not? Like, just another challenge.
Adam, I've had a baby. All right.
Cool. Hopefully it's mine. I mean, that's a joke.
Cut that.
Yeah, no. So we did our first escape in March this year. When did you come away?
I came away March.
This year, yeah. So that was our first one of the year.
Yeah. Koh Tao, right?
Yeah. So the baby we waited until she was 4 months old before running that first.
Before throwing a cliff jumping.
Taking a cliff jumping and
inflatable nappies.
We did Koh Tao in Thailand, March, followed by, where did we go? April, we went to Sri Lanka. Then May, back to Thailand again, Koh Samui. June was Koh Tao again, no?
I did Koh Tao again.
That was when you came back in Koh Tao. July, Kenya, which is one of our newer locations, which is just ridiculous. You still need to come to Kenya.
I need to come to them all, but I can't just work for you all year, man.
We can.
You actually can, because it's a holiday, so it's fine.
Then, August, we then came back to the UK, flew straight out to Bali in September, then on to October, back to Thailand, Koh Samui, out to Sri Lanka, again, still in October, and then we finished up the year in Sri Lanka. We then went to Maldives to set up our new location for next year. Spent a bit of time there, and then flew back to the UK. Landed first week of November. So pretty much March to November, it's been hectic, but good hectic. No complaints.
I was gonna say, actually, like, Ina tried to get me on Sri Lanka at one point. I do actually fancy Sri Lanka as well. I think it was just the time, and like, I don't know. Like, I think it was like so far away when she asked me, but you obviously need to. I was like, I'm a bit afraid of commitment. I don't know what I'm going to be doing in 7 months' time. I do want to do a Sri Lanka. I do want to do a Philippines as well. And obviously me, Mike, Rob, Nabil, we're all doing Bali with you in May, which I'm fucking excited for, man.
Mate, it's going to be so much fun.
Yeah, I did Bali last year with Mags, and it was unreal. But even I was only there for a week, and there's just so much more to do. It's actually massive. People think Bali's this like small little island, but it's like huge, and there's so
probably
much
the biggest
shit.
Challenge for us is when places are that big.
Yeah.
It's not, if you want to do some really cool shit, you have to get there. And if you've got like 15 people, you have to get them all there.
Just logistically, it's like you're on a school trip and you're the teacher.
Kind of, yeah. That's when I have
especially when Rob comes.
Rob, definitely when Rob comes.
Get in the fucking Jeep.
Knocking on his door in the morning to see if he's even awake yet. That's when I have to put my serious cap on for a little while just to make that happen.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to Bali, and I can't wait for it. I think it'd be sick. Have you got a favorite location, or?
I can't. Do you know what? People always ask whether we have a favorite location, and there's just different things about every single location that, like, usually the newer locations that usually are a little bit more exciting to be going to. Koh Tao was our first one, and it's still at the kind of sitting up the top there in terms of. Just because you can do so much,
like legit, 100%. If I had to put together like the top 5 weeks of my life, 2 of them would have been those Koh Tao trips. Literally,
mate,
like I thought it was that.
Makes me feel good to hear. That's good,
because it's literally got everything I fucking need, man. It's got a good group of people that like the social element of like living close to a big group of people is like incredible for your overall mentality in that. It's got like absolutely unreal scenery. The activities that you know, I like being able to go do something in the morning, like a trek or a fucking rock climb or whatever it is, and then still lift in the afternoon.
Yeah, exactly.
I've done like an actual training session. I've done like something active and out there in fucking nature. I've chilled with cool people, and then I'm gonna eat sick food, and I'm like this is all I want.
It just
in
ticks
life, man.
too many boxes.
This is
doesn't it?
legit.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Honestly, like they were. I think it's because like I don't know if it's always like that, but we just ended up with good groups as well, man. I think like
it really is, because everyone generally, when they come away with us, they've all kind of got the same energy.
Yeah.
Like, because of what we put out, essentially, because of the energy that we put out, it attracts usually a certain type of person, I think. So usually 99% of the time, everyone's on the same page right from the offset. Secondly, a majority of the people that come away with us do come on their own. So they're all kind of shitting themselves a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, everyone's a little bit nervous, feeling a little bit kind of apprehensive about meeting a new group of people. So I think when you're put in that environment, you're automatically more open to connect with those people.
Yeah.
So you like, please like me, you know, please be my friend or whatever. So you immediately make more of an effort to connect with people.
Yeah.
Whereas, let's say when we do have couples that come away with us, as much as they still have an amazing time, you've got that person, that's your crutch.
Yeah.
Like, they're your backup.
I found that a lot when I first traveled, when I first went on a trip on my own. I found that when I was on my own, you just meet people, man. You just rock up in a hostel and you're like, right, how's it going? You just say right to the person who you're fucking pretty much sleeping with, and then you're like, right, what you're up to tonight?
Yeah.
And they go, and there's like half a second of awkward moment, and then they're like, right, we're mates now.
Exactly.
Whereas,
we
like,
just become best friends.
I met a girl for a bit on my first trip and travelled around with her, and it was good, like, because I thought I liked her at the time.
Yeah.
But like, when I look back on it, I think maybe that like closed me off from like meeting more people.
Yeah,
and stuff,
did
'cause
you miss
you're
a
just,
couple of
like, sat there,
opportunities?
you
Yeah.
don't force yourself into the, because literally like it was a day after she left and I was like in a whole new group of people and I was like, this is sick. It's funny actually, I was saying like about the top so many weeks of my life, the one that would definitely make it in there was another week in Koh Tao the first time I went away.
Oh, serious?
I met a big group of people.
Was that just after you left that?
That girl?
So,
yeah. So she left, went back to Canada. I carried on, went to Thailand, back to Thailand again, met a load of people, and I had a Christmas and New Year on Koh Tao and Koh
Phangan.
Phangan.
Koh Phangan, yeah.
And it was just like, again, it was that dynamic of like sick place,
Yeah.
and just big group of like new people.
Yeah.
You know, like the one thing that's better than good mates is new mates.
It's true. It's
Not
true.
necessarily better, but like it's a different feel.
It is.
New mates, you're like, I've got new friends now. Yeah,
I can be anyone
This
I
feels-
want to
this
be.
feels
Like-
good. Like, they don't know how much of a dick I am.
Exactly.
You know, and that's like something that really gives you fucking just that feeling of excitement and like kind of just you feel a bit more.
Well, that's it, and I think that's a massive part of what we do. Like, people, it always surprises me even though it happens every single time. It still surprises me just how much in the space of 1 week a group of people can bond.
Yeah.
I mean, you've had some of the lads for your Halloween party.
Yeah. There was
that
literally
came
like
away, right?
Like, well, so there was 6 people from that retreat came on it. Both the girls.
Thanks for the invite, by the way. Just
I'm sure you were in Thailand, right?
probably.
You've got a kid, mate. You
I
don't get
know.
invited to parties. What was I saying? Right, so the 2 girls came. James came with his girlfriend, and then Harry came with his girlfriend. And like, I'm just like sick. Now I've got more party guests, man.
Yeah.
It's always nice to be able to have people
Looks
to
better
invite
in
to a
photos,
fuck-
doesn't
looks
it?
better, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, sometimes it's easier to, because when you get older, people become harder to do stuff with. People like, it's like all your friend groups like dispersed and got different priorities, and like, and I'm a bit more like, generally probably a bit behind my friend group in the terms of like stages of life, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I'm just not, just doesn't really interest me to like have a kid and stay in one place
Doesn't
and
interest
like
me,
all
yeah,
that. Yeah. And like, because I still feel like I've got a lot of adventure left in me, like, you know what I mean, like a lot, and career wise a lot to do as well. And I don't know, it becomes harder to see some of your mates and stuff, and then you end up just hanging out with people that you can hang out with, and you're like, well, you know what, the best mate is the one that's fucking there, man. Best mate is the one that you can do shit with.
Yeah, for sure.
And like, so, you know, that's why times like that are good, because you just like, wow, now I've got like a new group of people, man. And like, you know, you can never have too many mates, especially in different places as well. Because if I ever go to Koh Samui, I'm gonna be like, Adam, what's up? You know what I mean?
Or anywhere where we happen to be, like,
yeah.
just, and that's another thing that's been happening is people, because we do get people from all over the world, like whether it be Europe, Australia, the States, all over the place. So people that have been away together are now linking up, and whether they're going on holiday together, or, you know, it's like, oh, hey, I'm coming over to Germany, sweet, come and stay at mine, and people are still linking up, which that's amazing to kind of feel like you have facilitated that. Like it's a nice
like
feeling,
a matchmaker for
friends,
mate.
It's a nice feeling. We haven't had any hookups yet, but like the friend thing happens a lot.
Depends what you class as hookups, I suppose, doesn't it? Wow. All right, so that's New Horizons in a fucking nutshell, mate. And
it is. It's a fun thing.
Yeah, I can imagine. Like
fun.
personally, I don't think it's something that I could do, because like, although I would enjoy it, there's just too much organisation involved in that kind of stuff, man. That's not my forte. Yeah. I'm not the organizer. Do you know what I mean? Like I'll be there.
Yeah.
I'll say, all right, I'll be all right with people, and I'll be the host.
Yeah.
But like, there's so much like logistics that you have to go through, like all different countries and setting everything up. Massive. And, you know, all that kind of stuff. I suppose that must be like the difficulty of it. Like.
Yeah, and I mean, for me, the number one priority is always going to be, well, kind of combined priority is going to be kind of obviously the safety aspect, and making sure that we're taking people somewhere that they're okay.
Yeah.
But, you know, but equally somewhere that they're going to have an amazing time. So you have to put a lot of thought into that. It's not just about, oh yeah, that looks good, let's just take them there. We have to go there, like this trip to the Maldives that we just did. Everyone's always like, oh, your job must be so hard, you have to go to the Maldives and like check out a location. Yeah, I still had to pay to go there.
Yeah.
Like that wasn't just like nothing. You know, we have to go, okay, we think we're gonna run something here, so we have to go there, work out the logistics of it all, decide whether that is something that A, do we like it, B, is everyone else going to like it, and are they going to feel like they're getting good value by going there. And so far I can 100% say yes to every single one of those for all of the locations. Like, they're all amazing. I mean, we were talking before about favorite locations and things, and like I said, every single place that we go has something totally different to offer. Like Bali, where we're going in May, like it's just epicness in terms of like the things that you can do there and the things that you see. Even now, every time we go back there, it takes my breath away. You know, when we climb a mountain or something and watch the sunrise from the top of a mountain, or white water rafting or something like that. It's not your everyday stuff, you know, and I get to do that as a living. So the organizing of it is still fun though, you know. We get to go and try all of these things and make sure that at the end of the day, the way I see it is, if I like something, other people are probably going to like it too, or at least a majority of them, I would hope. But yeah, like you say, that is a bit where you have to be a bit serious, and you're more of the host, as you say. That's the bit that takes me out of my comfort zone. Is I'm not this kind of extrovert person. I've always been a little bit of an introvert when it comes to stuff like that. So that group side of it, that's me, where I have to push myself to be like. Do
you think so? Yeah. See, I don't get that vibe from you. I always feel like you're like really good people wise. Maybe you've learned to be.
I mean,
maybe you're getting better. Like,
I like people, but when they're all stood together and there's like 15 or 20 of them, it's even when you've done it as many times as I have, it's still intimidating, you know. It's still it's 20 new people staring at you
Who have paid you money?
who have given you their hard-earned money, and they're expecting you to deliver them a good week.
Yeah.
It's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
And so far, like I'm happy to say we've achieved that on every single escape that we've run. But you know, that is a side of it. It's probably the hardest bit is like those 20 people are individuals.
Right. Yeah. So everyone must have
Everyone's got their own expectations.
things you've got to cater.
Exactly. Whether that be from like a dietary perspective, or whether that be why they've come away. You know, have they come away because of, like in May, for example, have they come away because you're going to be there, or have they come away because they have a completely different expectation?
Yeah.
We have to make sure that all those boxes are ticked for everyone, and that everybody kind of connects and all that kind of stuff. So that's a challenge, but listen, I'm not gonna. It's first world problems. Like we still love what we do, and bringing people together to do fun stuff. It's a dream, right?
Yeah. So it's interesting, I think, because I imagine it to be quite hard. Maybe some people, I don't know, being a bit more difficult than others, and you've got to be because to an extent you've actually got to be like, right, we've all got to go and do this. There has to be like rules in like. We're meeting, for example, at breakfast, we're going to go on a hike, we're meeting at this time, and if you're not there, we have to go without you because everyone has to go. Yeah. And then it's like, people are like rumbling and they're getting ready, but they're going to be like 10 minutes late, and then it's like,
Well, that's it.
And you're like, how do I wake someone up at 7 a.m? Yeah, be polite.
And that's where you have to set the standard at the beginning, I guess, just kind of say, look, more to be honest with you, it's not for me. Like I'm not doing these weeks for me. My priority is everybody else. So if we've got a group of 10 people or 15 people, and one person is kind of, they're going to be late, or this is happening, or they're, you know, for some reason they're creating a problem for the rest of the group, you have to be diplomatic about it, but equally it's like you've got these other 14 people that are ready. So yeah, as long as you're open and honest with people, and you sit down at the beginning and just say, look, everyone's here for a good time, we'll wait for you for 10 minutes kind of thing, but then you're on your own. Like that's it. We're all adults at the end of the day.
Yeah, exactly right.
And
if you actually don't want to do something, you don't have to, right?
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, there's nothing that we're doing is mandatory.
Yeah, exactly.
We put this schedule
I'm not doing
together.
6 a.m. yoga, man.
Mate,
it's just not me.
You don't have to.
I would actually fucking love to, but I'm just not flexible in the morning. I'm like
even in the heat, like limber you up a little bit.
Mate, if I get up in the morning, I'm like cardboard, man. There's no way I'm putting my leg over my head at that time, man.
But that's it, and that's why we put together a schedule that we think's pretty sick. Like we think it's kind of ticks boxes for everybody.
Yeah.
But if there's something on there, if someone looks in it and is like, actually, that's not really my bag, of course we're going to say, all right, well, maybe try. You might like it. But if you don't, and you want to just sit by the pool and chill, that's fine.
Yeah. Do you get people, I was just a thought, like, do you get people booking who are like kind of at a loose end or something, or like, you know, just broke up with their boyfriend, just broke up with their boyfriend, or need a break from the job or something like that. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I need to like get away and reset, like as a kind of like, I don't want to use the word crisis, but like semi-crisis decision. Like
more often than
let's
you
go do
think.
Something extreme, like because it's what I'd do if I was like.
We get a lot of like
crisis.
We've had a few people that have come on the back end of a breakup. We've had a few people that have come because they need to reassess their kind of career choices and things. Like maybe they're in a job that they hate and they just need some time of not thinking about that. That you get a lot of it, mate. And let's face it, that's usually what people use holidays for anyway, right? To kind of get into their heads a little bit. But yeah, it's quite often that people will come away and then by the end of the week they're like have made some like life-changing decision, or like I've decided I'm going to do this or I'm going to do this. And I think also seeing what we're doing, with the traveling aspect of it and kind of starting our own business and doing all of that at the moment with a baby as well. All of that, it kind of shows people that actually, well, if they can do this kind of stuff, why can't I do something cool as well? Because it is just, you don't know unless you try. Yeah.
How long into doing it did you have Malia?
So she came along October 17. Our first escape was June 16.
So what, a year and like 5 months or something?
Pretty much,
a year and 4 months.
Yeah. But it kind of all came at the right time in that sense. Like, it was never like, let's have a baby. It was just one of those like, if we have one, we have one. Like, cool. That'll be cool. Ideally, that she wouldn't happen like in the middle of an escape. Obviously,
that would be ideal. Yeah. You don't want to be.
But yeah, it all kind of happened that her due date was like just as our year was finishing. So, and then we had like this, originally it was going to be like 2 months off, and we just extended that a little bit to be 4 months off so that we could kind of work out this whole like how to keep a baby going.
To have a baby.
Mate, it's just...
not the same as the Tamagotchi, man.
It's not, but you are just, at the end of the day, you're just winging it.
Maybe it is.
It's just like, there's not really, like, we didn't know what we were doing. You just go with it, and I think that's generally when you have a kid, it's just, especially the first one, obviously, it's all trial and error. As long as you're trying to keep them safe, the other stuff, you just work it out. So that 4 months gave us an opportunity to just work out how to be parents and sort of responsible for another life that wasn't our own. And then it was like, all right, well, let's do it, and just now she travels with us. She goes everywhere we go, she goes, which is cool.
So for the majority of the year, you're based in Koh Samui, right?
This year we were.
Right.
Next year, because we've increased the number of escapes we're doing. So we've got 12 escapes happening next year in a period of about 9 months or something like that, 9 or 10 months, plus a couple of times that we need to go and check out new locations, plus we need to come home to the UK to see family and friends and all that kind of stuff. So we did this year, we had a little bungalow in Thailand that we would kind of, we'd go off, do our thing, go back to Thailand for a few weeks to our bungalow, hang out there and like try and be normal, and then fly off somewhere else again. And it was quite nice to have a base. But next year we're just not going to have the time. Right. We're going to be on the road the whole year between hotels and whatever.
Wow.
It's just...
So you're going to be homeless, essentially.
Essentially homeless, yeah.
Homeless with a baby.
Homeless with a baby, it's... this makes me sound quite irresponsible, to be fair, but...
You're a bad dad. Bad dad of the year.
Sorry about that. But yeah, so next year is going to be a new challenge to try and do more.
Well, I suppose eventually you have to think about like school and shit, don't you?
Yeah, we do. I mean, she's not even...
Nah, you've got a few years, right? Yeah, she's
14 months, or she's about to turn 14 months old. So we've got some time there. Like, at the moment, she can have a couple of years of just learning about the world, and then things move so quickly that, when do they start school? Like 4 or 5 or something like that. By the time she's 4 or 5 years old, I don't know what we're going to be doing. Yeah. We could be anywhere. New Horizon Escapes might be like, nah.
Well, you might not be. You might be going on whatever escapes you want to be going on, and have people.
That would be the ideal, like to actually just, maybe we set up the new locations and then we have a team working with us to kind of to run the other ones. Right now we do everything. Yeah. Ina and I do absolutely everything. But even next year, it's becoming apparent that we're going to need some help. Yeah. So yeah, by the time she's 4 or 5 years old, who knows where we're going to be or what we're going to be doing. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it.
That's a whole other thing, right? In terms of getting someone to help. I think we spoke about this before, but it's not just like employing somebody normally. Because it's not like, if you employ someone normally and they fuck up, it's like, it's not that bad. But if you employ someone and they're responsible for 20 people, up to 20 people or whatever, and they fuck up, like...
It's pretty serious.
It's quite serious.
Yeah,
man.
it is.
And not just that, you need someone who's like just great energy,
Well,
great energy all the time. And I know, and a lot of people can be good energy for a short amount of time, but it's very rare that you meet people who are relentlessly good energy. Man.
You need someone that's emotionally invested in what you're doing. I personally believe that a lot of what we do is actually us, like because we put ourselves into everything that we do. We are the brand. So to bring someone else into that is quite hard, because you have to, if it's just like, I'm paying you a salary, just do what you're told. They're gonna do as most people do when they're at work. They do as little as possible to just get paid, mostly.
Even if not, it can never match the level of, even if they're a quote unquote good employee, they're still an employee. You can never match the level of like engagement and effort that somebody will put in if you're bought into it. Exactly. That's how I feel about stuff. Like, that's why I feel like, maybe I'll start making some clothes, or maybe I'll start doing whatever. I feel like I don't just want to be running something and just employing people to do bits for me. I'd rather have a team of people doing it, and then, because I'd feel a lot more able to, trust in everyone else's, competence and stuff if they were all. And also, I just feel more part of it. I think you work better when you feel part of a team. Like, do you know what I mean? And you don't feel like a team if you're just paying somebody to do something for you.
No, and that comes down to us as well. So whoever we do start to work with, it's our responsibility to make them feel part of that. Like, I would never bring someone on that I'm just like, right, this is your job, this is what you do, go and do it. They'll come as part of what we do essentially into our family, and get them emotionally invested in what we're doing, prior to then expecting them to fulfill duties. So that's important, and that's going to be the hardest thing.
It's even, I think about sometimes just getting people to help me with some videos and stuff like that, and I'm like, I don't want to just pay you, like, say I want to just go through a spurt of, being an actual real YouTuber who uploads frequently. Yeah, right. Then I need some help with it, but I don't feel right about just going, I'll pay you this much per video or this much per day or something like that. I'm like, I want you to be bought into the success of it. Like, maybe, like, there's ways you can do that if you can, but then again, like, I can say, like, right, we can split my ad revenue. So the better a video does, generally the more money, but then that's not much, like, and then what about all, like, the other money that you're making off it and stuff like that? It's, but that's just an example. Like, I feel like, if at all possible, if ever you can, it's good to allow people to be some way so that they can benefit off the success of it, even if that is just so that, let's say you employ someone and you're paying them set amount per week or per escape or whatever, then no matter how good the escape is, they get the same wage on. No matter how that might be bringing more and more business to you through, like, repeat custom or anything, and no matter what, if they don't see a direct correlation between what they put in and what they get out, they can never be as,
It's true, but I still don't believe that should come from a monetary kind of perspective. As much as it can still come from a monetary perspective.
It's the easiest.
It is the easiest, but I would, as much as I would there will still be that monetary side of it. I would rather kind of reward through, like, really showing that you appreciate something, and, like, I think if you treat your team like part of the family, you treat them really well, you kind of, look at, all the big companies that they take their employees on holiday, and they do cool stuff with them, take them out on these family days and all of that. And I think if you investing in them as a person as well as financially, then I think that's where you kind of get that commitment back, when you actually are showing, like, I care about you and I want you to do well, whether that be education, whether that be, giving them an experience, or, like, flying them somewhere for a holiday or whatever,
Yeah, 100%. I probably experienced that myself as well with one of the clothes companies that I work with, Legend London. I've worked with them for a while. They do mainly like jeans, some other clothes, but they have always like been, fair to deal with. And then I think it was last year, about just over a year ago, they took us all to London and put us all in this sick house.
Yeah.
But like even beyond that, right? These are good things and great gestures, and beyond that, what I appreciate most is they leave nothing like not covered. Like I'll get home a week later and he'll message me saying, "Oh, don't forget to email me your Uber receipt for the train station to the thing," and it'll be like 16 quid, and I'll be like, "That's sick that you give a shit about that. That's sick that you're being thorough." And like, because that's the kind of thing that like you might not mention. You might be like, "Oh, well, you just spent thousands on this. I'm not gonna like be bothered about." But it's nice for people to, just be that thoughtful, because that is thoughtfulness. That's actual consideration, because you like, and so like, I always appreciate that kind of thing, And I think that goes a long way, and it makes me want to do better for them. You know what I mean? And it does cross over, because, they'll pay me for a certain amount of like promotion and stuff, but I'll go beyond it sometimes. I'll just do another story or do whatever, just because I just want to, and
But I think you're like that, and I'm kind of the same in that sense. Like, it's things can be all business. If you're with it, there can be if it's treated as all business, then it's all business, and that's just how it is. Or if you kind of have that openness, like I kind of feel like we have a little bit in that, it's, we want you, when you come away with us, it's not just like, right, so you're here to do this or whatever. It's like, listen, you're here to have a good time. And that's either side of the escape as well. We want you to have fun. Like that's part of it, because we're not looking for you to just come away with us once, do your job and go. We want to build relationships with people that we respect and that we like as people. It's not just about, get them because they've got this many followers or whatever. I'm not interested in that. Yeah. It's about building good relationships with people, from both working and personal. And I mean, that's why I'll be sleeping on this beautiful sofa this evening.
Yeah. No, that actually reminded me of another thing that I always kind of appreciate in people, with both yourselves and the previous company I was talking about, Legend London, that the ability to be, it's often hard to strike a balance between too much chilled out friendship and too much business, and then if you're too over this end, one day you want to talk business, man, you want to talk about money, about how much is this going to cost, whatever, and that seems too like awkward if you've been too much friends only, or vice versa. If you're too businessy, then you just completely lack the relationship that's going to make it productive.
Me to your Halloween party.
Yeah, exactly. But I think this is why I just appreciate direct people who can talk business and talk about. People find money so awkward to talk about, man. It doesn't. Everything can be I just feel like we can all just be direct and frank and upfront with each other, and it doesn't have to affect our relationship, man. We can just talk about it, and if you say, if we're talking about something, you want to pay me to do something, and then I say, oh, I want this much for it. Like, if you then say to me, we're willing to pay you this much, I'm not going to be offended. Like, this is a business transaction, and we have to negotiate on a separate level, man. And it's not going to come into, whereas I think a lot of people these days will just, everything's just mixed in, everything's just crossed over, and it's just like people will get offended personally about things that are not personal issues, man. And I like when I can deal with people and just completely flip between friend, business, friend, but without
can
it
coexist.
being exactly right, and it doesn't have to be a weird thing. And so I think that's another thing that's it's just good to be able to work with, I suppose, people, like that.
I mean, we find that quite easy because I think we do tend to, a lot of the people that we work with, both from a kind of the coaches and things that come away with us, but also the businesses that we work with out in these different locations. I mean, you would have seen in Koh Tao, for example, we know all of these companies, they're all actual friends of ours. And so it's a business transaction as well, as much as they might be like, oh, Adam, because we know you, like, we'll sort you out a little bit or whatever. It's generally, it's like, if I saw them in a bar, I'd have a drink with them or whatever. But then when I'm stood there in front of them, my credit card's out and it's a business transaction. Yeah. Like there is that, and it is a credit card. It's not, I don't. Yeah, I mean, that's life,
All right, so do you have what's the ideal with New Horizons, like, eventually? I don't think you even thought about this shit, man. I think you just moved to Thailand one day and you were like, fuck this, I just want to
I mean, the thing is, the good thing about New Horizon is that it can evolve into pretty much what we want it to. Yeah. But lately we've been talking about the possibility of going down, actually having a resort, for example. I mean, if you imagine the resort that you've been to that is purely set up for what we do, has all the right equipment, has all the, like, it just, just having our own thing like that, where we can actually, as well as running these other escapes where we take people to cool places, having a base that is like the escape, like, and that was kind of my idea of calling it, it is the escape, where people come to us and we design this program for them for the week where they just have an amazing time, and you're constantly meeting new people coming through. You can spend a few days or a few weeks there, like, you spend as long as you want.
I see what you mean. Like,
do you know what I mean? And just do cool shit and meet new people, and whether it be we'd have it set up so that people can come and work remotely there, as well as coming on holiday, or, and just have this really cool bunch of people just cycling through and, yeah, just having a good time. And, like, we'd have a gym on site and everything, and it just, that'd be the dream. I mean, we're talking a lot of money later.
Gym on site, like, abandoned shipwreck so we can scuba dive to it.
Mate, all that.
Some cliffs to jump off, like,
all that.
Yeah, imagine if you could set it up, man, it'd be sick. Man.
It would. I mean, I
suppose, like, yeah, go on, sorry.
Well, we looked into, we're not for, like, because we're in a position to do anything about it, but you can buy an island in the Maldives for like £6 million, like your own island, which, don't get me wrong, I'm a long way off that, but £6 million for a whole island, like,
$6 million's fuck all for an island. It's not like, it's actually not eventually unachievable.
I mean,
man.
You've still got to build something on it.
Save
like,
a
it's
bit.
It's just a piece of sand at the end of the day. But
fuck that tents, mate. I'll go outdoors and
glamping.
Get a 10 manor.
Glamping.
Yeah, you could, man.
But
you do need running water, and that's going to cost you.
That idea, it's I think perfectly achievable. Something like that in the future. I mean, we're a long way from that right now, but things snowball, and.
Get a bank loan, man.
If someone had said to me 2 years ago that New Horizon would be where it is today, I'd be like, mate, that's going to be a couple of years, like a good few years before we achieve that. But it just snowballs on. So the next thing, you blink and you have your own resort, So that's what we've been entertaining, the idea of that more recently, which could be cool.
The idea of just designing something is just sick, innit? Like, we were talking before about having your own gym.
Yeah.
You're just like, right, I want this, and then when I walk in, I'm going to have this right there. So this is like super, like, I like the idea of, like, just efficiency just built into, like, the actual, like, structure of places, and, like, where everything is placed and stuff like that. Like, my kitchen's shit, man. Like,
I like your kitchen.
But when you live in it, you're like, right, my hand's here, and then I have to move my hand here to get this. And I'm like, this is not efficient, man. Who did that? Like, why is that light switch the other side of that door? Like, you open the door this way, and then the lights, and you're like, what the fuck has gone on here? And I'm just like, what dumb motherfucker put this place together, man? And it makes me feel
I
like,
think that light was an afterthought.
yeah, 100%. I'm just like whether it's your gym, a resort would be even better, man.
Yeah.
Just like putting stuff together, like trying to think of the best possible way you could do it.
Yeah.
It'd just be a sick kind of project, and there's something that you'd proper feel like content with there, like working on something continuously and actually like physically building something. I think I'll build a house one day. Yeah, not with my own bare hands, like, but design one and stuff like that, and just for the actual project element of it, it'd just be sick, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Definitely, and that kind of, even already, the resorts that we do work with, we try and work with resorts that actually are quite open to conversations about kind of doing things our way a little bit and changing things. I mean, I've just had a conversation with the resort in the Maldives. They're happy to build some shit for me, like a rig outside for like kind of outdoor training and things sick, like that. And we want to build relationships with these resorts so that everyone wins. Like, we all work together. We keep going back to that same place. We bring them new clientele as well, and they can carry on doing what they're doing. But it's just, if it's not going to cause them a problem, and it's actually going to potentially benefit them, then why not? So that's why that's one of the biggest challenges actually of doing what we do, is finding the right resorts that are happy to actually have that conversation. Because a lot of places, they don't care. They're like, no, you either book the room or you don't. Yeah. And then if you don't like it, fine. So we need places where we can sit down with them, talk about menus, talk about the type of activities that we're going to do there. Like, even when it comes down to blasting music out for workouts and things like that, they have to be okay with that. So even at the moment, it's still quite cool to have that like impact on a resort. So to be able to actually physically build something that is to my specification, or our specification if you want to include Ina, but to physically build that and just have this pure influence over this amazing place. Because again, the way that I see it, as much as I get older, maybe my ideas are not the same as what will be the younger generation at the time. But generally speaking, I think if you think something's cool and you've got a pretty good head on you, other people are going to think it's cool. And if they don't like it, well then I'll just be chilling in my resort on my own.
Yeah, you just have a resort and a huge fucking bank loan to repay.
Yeah, exactly. Man. But I'll be hiding in Thailand somewhere so they can't get hold of me.
You should have gains of tan, man.
That's all you need in life, really. So yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, it sounds ideal, mate.
Yeah.
It sounds like grand designs, but like fitness escape.
Yeah, man.
Version.
I mean, we'll be looking for investors as well. So if you want to get involved,
I've got 20 quid lying around.
You can have like a Joey D corner.
How far does that get me? Yeah. That'd be sick, mate. All right, so what we're gonna do is set up a fucking GoFundMe, mate. We're gonna crowdfund should we crowdfund a Maldives island? Let's do that.
Let's do it. So right. There'll probably be a link below.
In this, where you can just pour your fucking cash, mate. This podcast went from not profit to profit really quick. Come on.
Wow. We tried.
You'll get a free invite though. Actually.
You will, to be fair.
No, that we'd end up way in the red for that. Yeah, it sounds sick, mate. I'd like to do something like that myself, but it's just the trouble is getting 6 million quid together for an island in the fucking Maldives.
I mean, you're just talking minor details now, mate. Yeah. Like but no, I mean, genuinely, it is a huge amount of money.
Are you thinking about Thailand for this?
For the resort?
Yeah.
Who knows, mate? Yeah. Like, it's... I genuinely... The hardest thing that I find when people say, what's your plan for X, Y, or Z? The hardest thing about that is we move a lot and things change on the regular. So it's kind of... To be able to say, oh yeah, like in a few years' time, this is where I want to be, that's genuinely impossible. Yeah. Like, I have no idea. Like Thailand, by then, could be not even on our radar. Like we might be like, nah, we're done with you. With global warming and everything, we might be back in the UK. Like.
Yeah. You might be literally just up Ben Nevis.
Exactly. Maybe. So yeah, location wise, who knows? And we're open to that though. Like that's why we don't stay in one place too long. We just kind of go wherever feels right at the time, and enjoy ourselves while we do it. You know.
Yeah. From a more kind of like business standpoint, where is it you get most of your kind of customers from, clientele from? Yes. Is it awesome because I assume you do a good bit through the coaches that you bring along.
Yeah.
Some of your own Instagram, and maybe word of mouth is like
word of mouth is now becoming a big part of it. You know, at the end of the day, we're still a pretty young company, really. Like, we've only been going a couple of years, but so there is that mixture of our own social media that we're putting out. So we have had people that have just found New Horizon Escapes on Instagram and seen what we do and are like, wow, this looks great, book it. The other part of that absolutely is the people that we're working with, mainly because the people that we're working with, like yourself, it's not like, oh, we want their audience. It's that actually your audience is our audience. They just haven't necessarily found us yet, kind of thing. So it is a good bridge. And at the end of the day, if people that do follow you don't like what we do, then simple, they're not going to come away with us or whatever. But it's good to help us to sort of broaden our audience a little bit that way. So yeah, there is a part of it that comes from that. Word of mouth, like I said, is word of mouth, and return customers now is now massive. You know, next year, I think probably about 40%, 30 to 40% of our bookings for next year are people that have come away with us this year and are like, I need to come back again. Yeah. Which is that's ideal. Yeah. You know, that I'm not trying to just constantly get new people coming in necessarily, but it's to have people come back. It shows that they like what you do. They can see that you're doing it for them, and that you're offering them value, which that's really important.
And also that compounds, right? Because if every new customer has the potential of turning into a repeat customer, you're getting, like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's
fast, man.
Mate, that's why we have to be really, like, we could sit back and be comfortable and just be like, nah, these are our locations, just keep churning them out, kind of thing. But we know that we build really good relationships with the people that come away. We've got people that have been away with us 4 or 5 times, which is mad. Like, in 2 years, there's people that have been away with us 4 or 5 times.
What the fuck are they doing? I want to do that, man.
So we have to think about that. We have to think about the fact that if they really enjoy coming away with us, we need to do something for them. We need to put on new locations so that they've got somewhere to go every year. So that's part of the whole new location thing as well, is making sure that those that have committed to us don't just run out of places to go.
You'd have to have somewhere to actually go, right?
Yeah, exactly. So otherwise, they'll just be sitting outside my house. Just like, have you launched a new location yet?
No, you have to come back to Thailand.
Yeah, exactly. Which, again, a couple of people have come back to the same location.
Well, I did Koh Tao twice, right?
But
yeah, I mean,
well, technically 3 times. Once not with us, but you've been to Koh Tao 3 times, and you still have an amazing time every time.
No, only 3. Yeah. Only 3. Yeah, I've been to Thailand like 4 or 5 times now. The thing about Thailand though, like, people say, oh, it's like the trodden path, and like, people go to Thailand for a fucking reason, man. Yeah. Like, obviously, there's places that I would avoid. What's the one called that's like just full of brasses, man?
Phuket.
Nah.
Pattaya.
Pattaya, that's it.
Yeah.
Don't go to Pattaya. Probably limit your time in Bangkok, because it's like, it's just a bit filthy. Like, I don't want to, like, I mean, I don't want to be horrible, but some streets stink of shit.
Yeah.
Like, that's true in Manchester also.
Yeah.
But
it's true of anywhere in the world.
But like, when you get the stench of shit mixed in with like humidity and pollution and shit, you're like, meh.
It's not ideal.
It's not the best that Thailand has to offer.
It doesn't scream tropical holiday, does it?
No, it doesn't, man. But the rest of Thailand, there's so much shit to do, man. Like, you can trek up north. There's a million waterfalls. There's paradise islands. there's just literally just a unreal shit that you can do, and so like people are scared to do the same thing that other people have done. Like, well, you know what? There's a million routes that you can do through Thailand. There's so many different places.
Yeah.
There's new islands that are like coming in and out of fashion all the time, you know, and like there's just so much to do. There's a reason why people keep going there, man. There's the reason why I will go back probably many times, and you know, it's cheap as well, man. Still cheap. Like it's more expensive than it probably used to be, but so's everywhere. Yeah. So's England, man.
That's life, but there are benefits to the fact that a place gets a bit busier and a bit more popular.
Yeah.
Because all of a sudden things
Wi-Fi
get a bit
gets
easier.
faster, man.
Wi-Fi gets faster, the food gets better. All of a sudden people have to step up their game and actually care about people coming back. And
it's the beauty of capitalism.
Exactly. So I get it. There's certain places where it's just like, okay, this feels like you could be anywhere in the world. What was that?
That was my ankle.
That was disgusting.
Horrendously, mate. It felt bad, man.
But
Casualty.
There's huge, you know, this year where we spent most of our time, Koh Samui, it's got that great mix of modern convenience and kind of island vibes. You know, where we were living, we've got like a big shopping mall just down the road.
Yeah, that's where I was getting sushi from. Everyone.
Do you know what I mean? And there's a cinema upstairs which is always empty, but it's like brand new. Starbucks is there if you want it. Like all of those things, they're literally right there. The gyms are pretty sick as well.
Oh, the gyms were unreal.
But equally, if you drive 20 minutes down the road, you could be on an empty beach by yourself, just sipping a coconut and pretending you're on some like deserted island. So it's, when the beaches just get filled up with huge resorts, it does suck the vibe out of it a bit. But you know, Thailand, we still keep going back.
I don't care, man. I'm not one of those people who's like kind of travel pretentious, like. Do you know what I mean? People get like, oh, there's too many tourists there.
They made me wear
there's too many people saying that there's too many tourists there.
Yeah.
Do you know what's ruining it? People saying how many tourists there are. Shut the fuck up and be there, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Definitely. No, I agree. But
you get like travel snobbiness, don't you? That you encounter a lot, man.
Yeah. Well, what's funny though is that they're there.
Go back to London and ride the tube then.
But those people are there too. And they're there like, oh, there's too many tourists here. It's like, well, what are you doing?
Literally adding to it, man.
Yeah. Even Bali is the same. You know, it's got touristy areas.
Yeah.
You know, of
like
course it does.
Seminyak, I noticed was the most touristy.
Seminyak and Kuta.
It was Kuta's great. Don't even go to Kuta, man. Literally don't go to Kuta unless you're gonna fucking party. I went to Kuta the first time I went to Bali.
Yeah.
What happened was I met these two guys. Basically, I'd left Mike in Singapore. He wanted to stay in Singapore for a bit longer than me. I was like, fuck this, I'm going to Bali. I flew to Bali. Actually, went to Gili Islands first, I think.
Oh, yeah.
I was on Gili T and I was chilling myself there. I was like reading a few books and just being like civilized and that. This gets uncivilized fast. Does everyone want to hear a story about it, Jody? So, I went out. Met one day. I'd been on my own for about 5 or 6 days, and I was walking past this restaurant, and I saw these two lads, and I thought they look alright. I thought I'll sit next to them. Like went and sat down like on the table next to them. And there was these cats roaming around, and we were like stroking the cats, and we struck up some conversation about the cats. Turned out these Australian lads.
Can I just pause you a second?
Yep.
Did you say you were walking past the place, saw a couple of lads, and thought they look alright?
Yeah.
And
Like, they look like they might be my friend. Yeah.
Okay, sorry, carry on.
You know, struck up a conversation. They were cool. They were like, oh, you coming out tonight? I was like, yeah, fuck it, I'll come out. You know, now I've got friends. Because I'd just go through periods of like being on my own and then having friends. And like, I just like that, man. But anyway, I went out that night. Fuck, this is a horrible story, but I'll tell you anyway.
Yeah.
So
Bring value.
I was like, I don't know what got into me, man. Something got into me. I went out that night, and it's so small, Gili T, that it's like one bar each night has the party, you know, and that's where everyone goes, and all the others are pretty much shut because there's only enough people on there to sustain like one bar each night, like, and we just started drinking a lot, just got absolutely fucked. I remember the roads there. The drainage is so bad. It's not roads, it's all pedestrians, no cars on, no motors on there. There's like a few donkeys and that. And I walked out, but at the end of the night, I waded back. Like the streets I'd walked down, it had rained and the water was up to my knees, and I was completely fucked, like so fucked. I don't really. There's bits of memory that I've kind of lost, and I woke up the next day.
Blocked out.
Oh, blocked out. Probably for the better, man. I woke up the next day in the curled up in the corner of my bed. I just felt this. I smelled this like faint like stench of piss, man. I was like, "What's going on here? Like, why is this like?" Because it was warm as well, man. I was in a cheap room with no aircon, so it was just like a fan or something, absolutely sweating me tits off. And then I was like trying to peel back a layer and trying to like remember like what had gone on last night, and I had this memory of getting in, needing a piss, and just standing over my bed
and pissing on the bed.
and just like not only just pissing in one direction, but actually like spraying everywhere.
Just to hit every
Like, I don't know what was. I don't know what I was going. I don't know what had gone into me.
Right.
And then I think I realized what I was doing, like kind of stopped or something, and then I tried to like wash the fucking mattress. I was scrubbing shit with a towel, and then the whole bed was like soaked because I then like put water on it to try and like I don't know what I was doing. And then there was like one dry corner, and then in the end I just gave up and just curled up and went to sleep. I don't even know why I started the story. Anyway, where did we even get? Oh, we're talking about Cooter. So after that, yeah. So anyway, that's the story from Gilly T. But yeah, I left that place the next morning.
Did you get your deposit back?
No. And I went to Cooter then with these lads, and I remember Cooter getting there, and I was thinking, I'm supposed to be in Bali, right?
Yeah.
And Cooter was like, it was like just trashy, man. I mean, I'm saying trashy, I've just pissed the bed. And it was just like partying. I went to these like some clubs. There's a club called Sky Bar or something like that.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
And it was like just full of like Indonesians. Actually, it was like a really local crowd there, which is kind of cool because you're like in the middle of the dance floor, like you know. And I had a few alright nights there, but I just felt like an air of like not being that safe there.
Yeah.
Like everyone's just got like injuries from coming off scooters, and there's like guys like all the way down the road, like just dealers everywhere, man.
Yeah.
A lot of drugs there, considering like how harsh they are on drugs, and like just people offering you fucking everything. Mushrooms was a big one there, actually. A lot of people offering you mushrooms, and I was like, I don't think so, man. I don't
Probably
feel
not the
safe
ideal
enough
environment.
there. Yeah. And then I was like, I left Cooter, and I was like, I'm never going back to Cooter. And then I'd been to Bali, but I hadn't really been to Bali.
You had an experience.
No.
Bali,
So then when I went back with Mags, like we stayed in Ubud, which was sick.
It's beautiful.
Place
yeah.
in the jungle, which was unreal.
Only downside to Ubud is it's away from the beach. Like
Yeah.
So where we are is kind of, so you got Kuta, then you've got Seminyak, which is a slightly lesser version of Kuta that you just described.
Yeah, Semenyak's a bit more.
Yeah,
but
then
it's
you've got
still like
Canggu, which is like a cool kind of surfy hipster vibe going on, which is like some really cool cafes and bars and things like that.
That's where we're staying, right?
We're staying just outside of that. So basically where we are is just surrounded with rice fields. Right. Yeah, so it's proper Bali. Like literally you sit by the pool and you're looking straight out into a rice field. Yeah. That's it, like super peaceful. But you go 10 minutes down the road and you're in Canggu, and there's cool cafes and restaurants right by the beach. You can surf, you can chill on the beach and have a beer or whatever. Like it's a nice little area. And Kuta is just one of those places that like you just pretend is not there really. Like it's quite, to be honest, where we are, it'd probably take you an hour to get to Kuta from where we are.
Bali's actually massive, isn't it?
Yeah.
People, it's actually huge, man. I remember getting Ubers around, but Ubers are cheap, man. Uber's there, isn't it?
Uber is there, but they're massively rebelling against it.
Are they?
The taxi gangs that are there, like if they see an Uber driver picking up in their area, they'll like surround them, and it's not good news. But they are about. But yeah.
I was actually in a crash, only a minor one, in an Uber. Right. So I was in an Uber and we were just going around this junction, cars just flying everywhere, man. Yeah. Some guy just like coming closer and closer. Not very fast, like closer and closer.
Just didn't stop.
Straight into us. I was like, what the fuck's going on? It's in my video, like, but it's only a little, you know. And then he didn't stop. So our Uber driver was like chasing him down for like 20 minutes before he stopped. And I'm like,
with you in the back,
with us in it, yeah. I was like, can we get to the fucking waterfall, mate? Eventually, we went to the waterfall. The guy waited for. It was like a long ass journey. The guy waited there for us for like 2 hours or something, and then took us back, and it just cost fuck all, man. And I was like, this is sound, mate. When we got out, I was like, how much are you gonna charge me to wait here like a couple of hours? And he said something, and I was like, that sounds fair. And like,
I mean, that's pretty good, because they are in a position, especially with tourists, that they can kind of take advantage. Yeah. Especially when the currency is like several 100,000 rupiah or whatever. And they're telling you this price, and you're like, I have no idea how much that is. So yeah, okay, that's fine. Yeah. And then later on, you realize you've been fleeced.
Yeah, you just give people notes, and you like give me some. Yeah, you always get shafted once or twice when you're on holiday, like. Everywhere. Yeah.
Like, yeah, that's always the same.
And then you get too like vigilant about it, and you start like bartering for shit you shouldn't barter for. Yeah,
going to 7-Eleven and
offering people like you're offering people like 3 pence for something.
Just offending people.
7-Elevens are sick, man. But I actually love a 7-Eleven.
Bali is just a cool place, man. Like it's one of those places that I never truly appreciate until I'm there. Like there's certain places that I'm like, oh yeah, I'm really looking forward to going back to that place. Bali kind of sits on the low key until I get there and I start doing all the cool shit that's there. Yeah. And then I'm just like, I don't want to leave this place. Like it's just...
Bali is sick. Like,
it's epic.
For me, I feel like it just feels like you're more away from everything else in a way. Especially when you go out like you go to a waterfall in the middle of fucking nowhere, and you're like, there's no problems here, man. I'm not watching the news about fucking North Korean like nuclear program and shit. Like this is sound. It's like kind of like ignorance to like the rest of the world in a way.
Sometimes it's the best way to live, mate.
Sometimes that's what you want, because half of the shit you see on the news is shit that's actually never going to really affect you. You're just like frightened into thinking that it might.
It's targeted at you to make you make a certain decision.
Where everything is sensationalized. Like we live in like a world of sensationalism where everything is like. You see that with YouTube a lot as well. Like just everything is like. Everything's clickbait. Everything's got a fucking emoji on the thumbnail. Everything's, you won't believe this.
Yeah.
Dun dun dun. We're all so dramatic. And you see channels that do fucking sick, and you go on the video, and it's like someone just being erratic for 10-15 minutes, like shout, like Logan Paul and Jake Paul and that, and the video's just shouting. Yeah. Just shouting for 15 minutes. You're like, what the like everything's so like extreme and like dramatic, and it's like. It's a crazy like world of attention seeking or but like I personally like don't feel like I ever want to be that like that kind of, but also I don't care if other people. I'm not pissed. I'm not offended by other people doing it. I don't think that there's anything wrong with it, because I feel like it's business, man. Sometimes it's business. Some people, if you want to run shit for business purposes, then you run shit for business purposes no matter what. Depends what you want to do it for, man. Depends on your reasons, doesn't it? Your motives. Now, it's only, I think, you only run into trouble when you cross over, when you're like, you know, if you're running it for business purposes primarily, but then treat it personally and put your own personal judgments on things, and vice versa when you kind of run into issues with it.
You're still fighting for people's attention. I mean, that's what everyone's trying to do, right? You're still looking to try and get that person's attention, but it's more like, do you want like legit attention, that like the right kind of attention, or do you just want full on attention from anywhere that you can get it? And that's why we have these people that in the public eye that have just become these mental families that. You know,
the other thing is though, really, it doesn't, like, people just get chewed up and spat out, man. You see it with like anyone who gets a big following off like reality TV and shit. If they're not doing something like real, if they're just posting photos in like t-shirts and shit, the latest t-shirt that they're selling, people quickly forget who the fuck you are, man. And so like. The very worst is people who get sucked into trying to grab attention from an insincere kind of like position, like just sensationalizing shit or whatever, and then they get it, but as quick as people come, people go, because they don't care who you are. They care about that thing that you can't believe what happened.
Exactly.
So they don't give a fuck who you are or what you've got to say, and you're churning out attention-seeking things so often that it's too often to be able to put any value into anything. So there's no value behind anything, because you can't possibly put a video every day and have something valuable in that video. You just can't do it unless you are a super fucking human. And if you can do it, there probably are exceptions. All respect to you, like majority of people can't do that, and so they get all this attention and then it fucks off, and then they're trying to get it again, and then it fucks off, and it's like a cycle of like, and now and you're selling more and more and more of yourself, and then next thing someone's like doing, riding a unicycle naked down the fucking middle of the town centre for a thumbnail, and no one gives a shit, and it's like, wow, now I'm a prostitute, like pretty much. Now I'm a life prostitute. I prostitute my actual like self, like and nobody cares on top of that. And so I don't know, I'm going off a tangent, but it is a very like, it's weird as well, because it's not like nothing's like, no one sat there going, right, developing like conspiracies and like ways to control people. It's just people become used to like an attention grabbing society because of just marketing and stuff like that, and like it's hard, man. It's weird. It's just because if you become accustomed to that, then generally that's the way society is kind of led by, just like advertising and stuff like that. It trains people to think a certain way, and so then you're always on the lookout for the flashiest thing and the loudest thing and the brightest thing and the most expensive thing, and then you can't appreciate subtleties anymore, because it's like eating.
If it's not in your face, it's not.
It's like if it's not sugary or salty or sour, like, then it doesn't register, man. So you taste a bit of fucking broccoli and you're like, what's this? Where's the sugar? This needs sugar. This broccoli needs more salt.
It's like all these needs more salt. It's like all these protein companies that are now, they have to bring out the maddest flavors now just to get like to get that side of it. The people that are like, oh, that sounds really weird.
You just need novelty, don't you, really?
Yeah, exactly. But you can't beat a good old traditional vanilla or something.
Chocolate, mate. I went off on a tangent.
It's alright, tangents are good.
I'm trying to think if there's anything else worth talking about. I might ask you some like just straight up, bit more generic-y kind of questions. So, is there anything you kind of like just learned from the whole process of like kind of stepping out of your job into something that was more fast-paced, dynamic, crazy, unpredictable? Like you must have learned. It must have been like quite anxiety-inducing to begin with.
It is, and it's. I mean, the thing is, often, like, I think sometimes these answers can sound really cliche. Right? Like,
they can, yeah.
So
I agree.
So there'll be all those cliche things that I could say, like the.
Well, the thing is, I've actually discussed this before on the podcast. The cliches are true, man.
They are. There's a reason that that you hear it all the time.
But because they're cliches, it now doesn't register, and it's now like the definition of a cliche is something that's used so much it's lost its meaning, right? And so now they don't mean anything because people hear them and it doesn't register. If it was the first time in your life you'd ever heard somebody tell you to get out your comfort zone, it would mean a lot to you, man.
Or life's too short,
and it would like it would mean a lot. But it's just
it has lost all meaning. So I need to think of a way of saying this without it sounding cliche.
That is honestly, I find that I have that problem. Like people ask me shit on like Q&As and stuff, and I'm like, I want to say this, but I literally just sound like a generic fucking drone, man. Like, and I'm like, how do I at least put this forward in a way that might register with people, that might,
All right, so if there's things that Ina and I have both kind of learned over this time, like we've had this conversation recently. When it comes to like an idea, you take an idea. We always talk about ideas like they just generally float around, right? An idea will float around. It'll come to you. It'll float if you kind of don't let that idea in, it will float on, it will go to someone else, and it's pretty much just looking for someone to take ownership over that idea, right? And if you don't do it, someone else is going to do it. Like, there's no like completely unique ideas out there. Like, someone's going to do it eventually, right? So whenever an idea kind of comes into our head now, and since kind of doing this, because we have just tried a load of things and seen whether they work. Now you just got to give that idea the time of day, at least. Like, if you sit there and you think, and I bet so many people out there, they just sit there and they're like, oh, don't you think wouldn't that be cool?
I do this all the time.
And
legit all the time.
And then you just do nothing about it.
Yep.
And then like 6 months later, that thing that you were thinking would be cool, you see is actually like a thing. So giving things the time of day, for sure. Like, I would say I never, no matter what it is, unless it was like literally offensive. If someone comes to me and is just like, what do you think about this? Or comes to me with an idea or whatever, I'll always sit and think about whether I want to be involved in that. Like, sit and be open to it. Do you know what I mean? The same, any opportunity that comes along, just consider it and whether it's possible. And look at that kind of, that worst case scenario that we talked about earlier. Like, other than the death, obviously.
Yeah.
What's the worst that could happen from me saying yes to this? And 90% of the time, you're going to sit there and go, well, actually, that wouldn't be that bad. Like, even whether you lose a bit of money or whether you like have to go home and you kind of have to get a new job or whatever, none of these things are like really, really terrible. Like, they're all pretty doable. So yeah, it just, generally speaking, we say yes to a lot of things. Like, just try a lot of things and be open to them happening. Don't necessarily just do things that scare you, but like, do things that you want to do.
Don't just do things because they scare you.
Yeah, do things that you want to do, and just accept that fear is a part of the process. Like, just, I'm scared of things all the time. Like, but it's part of the process, right? Of actually moving forward with something. So yeah, just make decisions, do cool things.
Yeah, I think what you said about ideas, like, I do that all the time. I always think about ideas. I always think of ideas, like, especially ideas for videos and shit like that. Yeah. And I noticed that sometimes it seems like a good idea, and another time of the day it seems like a bad idea, and another time it seems alright, and then I wake up the next day and in the morning I'm like, oh, that's actually a sick idea. Yeah. And it just, like you say, it floats around, man.
Procrastinate,
and it goes in and out of the zone of good idea or not good idea, bad idea, and that just depends on the mood you're in, what's happened that day, like the fucking chemicals floating around in your brain, what time is it, what the weather's like, all that kind of shit. Yeah. And I get to the conclusion in the end that the idea is less important than just deciding, and it's less important than the actual execution of an idea. Yeah. Like, you can probably make it can just be an okay idea that you could probably make pretty good. Yeah. By the same token, you can probably turn a good idea into something pretty shit if you don't go at it the right way. Because we can say stuff like, you know, we can sit here and say like, oh yeah, and do shit that scares you and blah, 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 and all that shit. We can throw out all the, you know, typical, so we can throw out all those, but like a lot of the time, like, if you're going to live in the real world, it comes down to the execution. Like,
yeah, it definitely does. Like, don't get me wrong, you don't just, if you have that idea, you need to, it's about being open to considering whether it's something that you could do well. Yeah. I mean, like, Ina and I are kind of on the opposite ends of the spectrum in this sense. Like, I'm a little bit more like you, where I'll just be like, oh, this would be a really cool idea, and I'll mull over it for quite a while. If I say something to Ina, if I'm like, don't you think this would be a good idea? If she agrees with me, right, I like leave the room. I come back, she's written a business plan. Like, she's like instigating, making phone calls, like emails, like, right, so if we do it like this and we do it like that, she's like on it kind of thing. And I kind of think somewhere between me and her, like, that we meet this compromise where we actually make some cool shit happen, kind of thing. So it's always good to have that second head to,
and someone who kind of compliments you in a way. Like,
to bounce
in the actual
ideas.
sense of the word, like, fills in your blanks. Like
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, you don't have to be
you
like
have different strengths, right?
on the same page 100% of the time, but if your pages kind of match and like, yeah, we have different opinions on things, but when we meet in the middle, actually, it tends to be the best place, and we kind of then have all of a sudden got an amazing idea. Everybody is just doing their thing at the end of the day, and some people like doing the whole 9 to 5 like clock in clock out thing. Like that's cool. Like I think it's very easy when you do something like what we are doing to kind of say like, oh yeah, everybody should do this, like everybody should live a certain way, like you should live outside of your comfort zone, this, that and the other. And it's like, but some people genuinely enjoy getting up, going to work, doing their thing, coming home, like chilling like that.
Sometimes I think I would enjoy it.
I do as well, like, and that's all right. Like, there's no judgment on that. If you enjoy it,
I think, like you're saying, that's easy for us to say, and it's easy. More importantly, it's easy for people to sell. Yeah. It's easy for people to sell the fucking business coaching or the how to grow this and how to grow that. It's easy to make money off selling a dream, and that is a dream because we can sit here and go, look how sick my life is. I do this, I travel here. And you can just sell it to people, but the benefits of both sides, there's pluses and negatives to both sides. Like,
of course there is.
Like, I'm on a completely different schedule to all of my close friends.
I'm on a completely different continent to all of my friends, exactly. Like, you know, and my family and everything.
Yeah. And so, like you say, you know, it is easy to just sell the shit. I don't know if I cut you off there. If you're going to carry on,
was really? That it? Just, No. It's all good. It was just that, as you say, like. I've lost my train of thought.
That's it, right.
Yeah.
We're going to fuck it off, people. Thanks for joining us. Hopefully we'll be back with some more... An hour and 36, mate. That's nice. That's all right. We're going to be come back with some more...
Hopefully that wasn't just all waffle.
Podcast. Hopefully it wasn't, mate.
Some value in
We'll
in
see.
That.
Hopefully you enjoyed shit. I'm going to try and do more podcasts.
I think you should.
If you want to check out New Horizon Escapes, I will link the website. I'm going to be going in Bali. In Bali? In May. To Bali. If you don't, that's fucking fine. Do your thing. Yeah, all right.
And that's, by the way, just for the record, like it's not a lads retreat or escape. See, even I say it. It's not just a lads escape. It's not like just a female thing. Like we all get involved, and it's a good mix of people from all different backgrounds, different ages. There's no restrictions other than the fact that you are over the age of 18, of course, and relatively able-bodied.
Also, I will link my Koh Tao video from the first one we did, so you can just get...
Even if you just watch the intro of that video, it's worth it.
Actually, just watch the intro,
It's a sick intro.
Intro.
Yeah.
All right, people, thanks for stopping by. Ciao. Thanks to Adam, also, for taking part.
Thanks for having me.